Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NFL lately, you know that the NFC East has been buzzing with rumors, headlines, and debates about what's next for some of the league's most intriguing teams. And the Washington Commanders, a franchise with a rich history but also a lot of recent uncertainty, are front and center in this storm of speculation. What's really happening behind the scenes? Well, a lot of it revolves around their star wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, and the future of their roster as they gear up for another intense season. Let's start with the current situation. McLaurin, who has been one of the most reliable and explosive playmakers since he arrived in Washington in 2019, is now entering a pivotal year in his career. The question on everyone's mind is, will the Commanders be able to lock him down with a new contract? Or are we headed toward a difficult decision that could see the veteran wideout wearing a different uniform? It's not just a minor issue. This is about the franchise's future offensive identity and whether they're willing to pay top dollar for a player who's become the centerpiece of their passing game. Now, McLaurin's frustration is starting to show. Reports out of DC have indicated that he's getting increasingly impatient with the lack of progress on negotiations. You see, McLaurin has been nothing but consistent, a guy who's quietly become one of the league's best route runners and most dependable targets. He's caught over 200 passes in the last 2 seasons alone, racking up more than 300 yards and 14 touchdowns during that span. Statistically, he's been a game changer, especially when you consider the context of the team's quarterback situation. And speaking of quarterbacks, this is where things get even more interesting. Last season, the Commanders made a bold move, acquiring Jayden Daniels, a young quarterback with a lot of potential. And while Daniels showed flashes of brilliance, he still needs consistent weapons around him. McLaurin, with his precise route running, excellent hands, and ability to make plays after the catch, is exactly the kind of player that could elevate Daniels' game. But the problem is, if the team doesn't get a deal done with McLaurin soon, he might become a trade chip to bring in other assets that could help rebuild the roster more quickly. And that's where rumors about potential trades start to heat up. According to recent reports and some speculative analysis by Bleacher Report, there's a scenario that's garnering attention, one that involves the New York Jets. Now, I know what you're thinking. The Jets have been building for a playoff push, especially with the recent addition of Aaron Glenn as head coach and Justin Fields at quarterback. But what if the Commanders, instead of losing McLaurin for nothing, decided to explore a trade that could bring them a valuable player in return? The hypothetical trade that's been floated suggests that Washington could send McLaurin to the Jets in exchange for running back Breece Hall, along with a 2026 second-round pick. Hall, a second-round pick himself in the 2022 draft out of Iowa State, has shown incredible promise when healthy. In his rookie season, he racked up 876 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, along with 57 receptions for 483 yards and 3 scores. That kind of dual-threat capability is exactly what a team like Washington could use to bolster their backfield, especially if they're looking to get younger and more versatile on offense. But it doesn't stop there. The same deal would involve the Commanders parting ways with Austin Ekeler, a productive running back who, in 12 games last season, rushed for 367 yards and 4 touchdowns, while also catching 35 passes for 366 yards. Ekeler, known for his agility and pass-catching ability, would be a solid addition to any backfield, and his presence would help ease the loss of McLaurin's production. The idea behind this move is to remove some of the drama and potential contract disputes that have been clouding the team's offensive plans, while also injecting some youthful energy into the roster. Now, let's take a step back and analyze what this all means for the Commanders. First, it's clear that the team is at a crossroads. They've invested a lot in McLaurin, and he's earned a major payday. The fact that he's still unsigned and reportedly frustrated suggests that the organization might be hesitant to commit long-term, especially if they're uncertain about their quarterback situation or their overall rebuild strategy. But let's remember, McLaurin's impact on the field is undeniable. His route running, his ability to create separation, and his knack for clutch catches make him a true difference maker, especially for a young quarterback like Daniels or whoever else they might bring in. That being said, the NFL is a business, and sometimes tough decisions have to be made. If the Commanders decide that they're not willing to meet McLaurin's asking price, they might look for the best possible trade value, which could be Hall and Eckler, as the rumors suggest. This would give Washington a fresh, dynamic backfield that can complement their offensive scheme, especially if they want to emphasize a balanced attack that mixes the run and pass effectively. Replacing McLaurin's production isn't easy, he's a rare talent, but acquiring Hall and Eckler could help cushion that blow, especially if they draft or develop another receiver in the upcoming draft. But let's not forget the bigger picture for Washington. The franchise has been in a bit of a rebuilding phase over the past few years. They've made some smart moves, like drafting high-upside players and trying to build a solid foundation for the future. Still, they've also faced challenges, especially with inconsistent quarterback play and injuries. Bringing in a player like Breece Hall could be part of a broader strategy to reconfigure the offense, making it more explosive and unpredictable. And speaking of the current roster, the Commanders have some promising pieces. Their defense is starting to show signs of improvement, with young players like Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and a solid secondary that's developing nicely. Offensively, they need to find consistency, and that's why McLaurin's role is so crucial. Having him on the field opens up so many possibilities for Daniels or whoever they decide to start under center. His ability to stretch the field and make contested catches gives them a real advantage. But if that doesn't happen, and the front office is forced into a trade, they'll have to look at the long-term benefits versus the immediate impact. Now, from a fan perspective, I know this situation creates a lot of mixed feelings. On one hand, losing McLaurin would be tough. He's been a fan favorite, a guy who's always shown heart, dedication, and elite talent. On the other hand, if the team can use this as an opportunity to acquire young, high-upside players like Hall and Eckler, it could set the stage for a faster rebuild and potentially more success down the line. It's a classic dilemma. Do you hold on to your star and risk losing him for nothing, or do you trade him now to get something in return that could accelerate your timeline? And let's be honest, this isn't just about the current season. It's about establishing a winning culture, about making strategic moves that position Washington as a serious contender in the NFC East and beyond. The division is getting tougher every year, with the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants all making moves to improve. The Commanders need to respond in kind, and that's why decisions like this are so critical. Do they push all in to keep McLaurin and build around him? Or do they pivot, make some tough trades, and focus on the future? In terms of expectations for this upcoming season, there's a lot of optimism among fans. The defense looks promising, and Daniels, if given the right weapons, could take a step forward. But without a reliable top-tier receiver like McLaurin, that optimism might be tempered a bit. That's why the potential trade scenario is so significant. It could reshape the team's identity and trajectory within just a few weeks. The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, and the Commanders are in a prime position to make some bold moves, whether to retain their star or to retool for the future. Looking at the history of the franchise, Washington has always been known for making strategic decisions, sometimes controversial, but always impactful. From the days of the Hogs and their legendary defenses to recent years of rebuilding and retooling, they've shown that they're not afraid to shake things up when necessary. This situation with McLaurin might be just another chapter in that ongoing story of resilience and adaptation. And for you, the fans, it's about staying engaged, staying supportive, because whatever happens, the passion for this team runs deep. Whether McLaurin stays in Washington or moves on, the team's future is still bright. There are talented young players in the pipeline, and the front office has shown that they're willing to make tough decisions if it means building a better, more competitive squad. It's a season of uncertainty, yes, but also one of opportunity. The right move now could set the tone for years to come. So, as we watch this situation unfold, remember that every franchise has moments like these, times of transition, of tough choices, of strategic gambles. The Commanders are no different. They've got a passionate fan base, a rich history, and a lot to prove in this new era. Whether they keep McLaurin or decide to trade him, one thing is for sure. Washington is always fighting, always looking ahead, and always striving to reach that next level. And as fans, we're right there with them, believing in the potential, supporting the team through every twist and turn. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, there's still plenty of time in the offseason for these rumors to evolve, for new trade offers to emerge, or for the team to finally reach a deal with McLaurin. The draft is just around the corner too, and that will be another key moment. Whether they pick a receiver early or prioritize other positions, it will tell us a lot about their long-term plans. The NFL offseason is a whirlwind, and the Commanders are right in the middle of it, making strategic decisions that could shape their future for years to come. One thing is clear: the franchise's leadership understands the importance of star players like McLaurin. They know that securing their core talent is essential to competing at the highest level, but they also have to weigh their options carefully, balancing immediate needs with long-term goals. If they decide to trade McLaurin, it won't be an easy choice, but it might be the move that sets the tone for the next chapter of Washington football. And for all of you watching, remember that every decision, every trade, every draft pick is part of this incredible journey. The passion, the hope, the anticipation, it's what makes following the NFL and the Commanders so special. So stay tuned, stay engaged, and keep supporting your team no matter what. The future is always uncertain, but with a passionate fan base and a commitment to improvement, Washington is always in the game. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. Do you think they should hold on to McLaurin at all costs, or are you ready to see him traded for future assets? Maybe you believe a different scenario could play out. Whatever your stance, share it with us. I'll be back soon with more updates, more breaking news, and more insights into the Washington Commanders' quest for greatness. Until then, keep the faith, stay loud, and let's keep this passion alive.